I've faced things that I'd never want you to see, and I only want people to see the best side of me. I've always been the type to reject what's been provided to me, because I never wanted to be a standout. And if you knew my life, you know that I never left the ring from that 3-round bout. I know my life has been a fight, and sometimes I just lose my might, and I think it's never gonna be all right. Living life like I'm on standby, saying that I go to the front line, but never show up when it's my time. Just spending time in the shadows, and I feel like there's such a high expectation for these poems I compose, and I try to keep my composure, but it's so hard when I went through so much pain last year to find any source of closure. Being used, getting so confused, all wrapped up into one big story of abuse. Last semester I had my first panic attack, like a knockout punch, there was no playing for that. I was so scared and afraid, I texted 2 of my friends and called my mom. That phone call exploded like a time bomb, just feeling dead inside, so I just drove home, hid in my room and cried. Forget that I was in charge of a retreat, I just needed to retreat. And I may sound like a broken record just on repeat, but I'll say it again and again. This is a therapy for me. And I pray that some of this touches you. And I don't try to know the struggles that you're going through. Just know that I'm not perfect and I'm a sinner who's a defect. And I don't think of myself highly. And some people may see me as smiley, but I've got a dark past that I can't get past. Visions coming to me day and night, visions of the sins and the fight. And I pray that everything's gonna be all right, because by myself, I just can't put up the fight. And some people may hear this poetry as a sound bite, and I know this JCM brand isn't because of the fans, because there's someone else who's my biggest fan. And when I ran, he waited patiently for me. And when I came back, I was down and out, not knowing what I was all about. And I said to him, Father, forgive me for I've sinned against you and against heaven. He stopped me and said, my son is no longer dead, but clothe him and bring him in, showing me a love I'd never felt before. My heart dropped, I nearly collapsed to the floor, and all I could do was adore, because I opened the door to the Father who gave his son for me, even though I was guilty of sins of all degrees. And it's hard to accept that when I get stuck on the past me, but he just looks at me and says, John, I want you to be free. Because there's too many people out there who aren't truly living, but they just breathe. I died for you, my son. Your battle has been won. You gave yourself the name JCM, but I gave you the name John. You were dead, my blood was shed. Now you are alive again. Now you are no longer a slave. Now you are my friend. He says those words to me over and over, and sometimes I just treat God as a pushover, when really he wants us to share in his Passover. He's reaching out to all of us, and all we have to do is trust. But there's too many of us spending time being lazy and catching rust. Trust me when I say my life could be considered a bust, but the Father came to me, his son, and turned my horror story into a redemption of a lifetime. He gave me this ability to rhyme, to share his love with you, and to know that you aren't alone on this journey that can be a climb. But know this, when you're feeling all alone and you've run so far from your heavenly home, the Father is waiting for you to come back and be healed. This life is a battlefield and you never have to be alone. Jesus, let your love be known.